everyone. Welcome to the 2024 Roundtable Dialogue. This roundtable is part of Interpreting World Heritage, an annual periodical magazine of Whipic. Today's discussion will be featured in the High People section of the third issue of Interpreting World Heritage, which will be published in July. Today's topic is storytelling in heritage, particularly as it manifests in heritage festivals. And we've invited 3 experts to share their experiences on this topic. We have Ms. Noura Alshaye from Pearling Testimony of an Island Economy in Bahrain, Ms. Colleen Swine from San Antonio Missions in the USA, and Ms. Jinny Ho from Jeju Volcanic Island and Lava Tubes in Korea. Welcome everyone. As I mentioned earlier, today's topic is storytelling at heritage festivals. We will discuss the importance of storytelling in connecting heritage with the public through 3 questions. I'm personally excited about this topic because about 50 years ago, I organized a heritage festival at the Paleolithic sites in Korea. And that's when I started to thinking about how to attract people to the festival and how to raise their awareness of heritage values, which we will be discussing today. So let's dive in. Firstly, I would like to ask each of you to tell us about the festivals that you have been managing. And in doing so, please share the stories you aim to convey to the public. Noura, shall we start with the story of Bahrain?
Thanks so much, and thanks for the invitation to talk about and share our views on this topic. So sorry, wait, I'm going to share my screen. I work on a World Heritage site called Pearling Testimony of an Island Economy, which is a serial UNESCO site comprised of 17 properties in the heart of historic Muharraq that each relate to the memory and narrative of the pearling economy that was central to the island of Muharraq. The project, being an urban rehabilitation and regeneration project, has been ongoing for around nearly 14 years now, so it's quite a long project, also in terms of its implementation. We completed the first phase of the project a few months ago, and 2 years ago, actually, we had the idea of starting a festival on the World Heritage site called Muharraq Nights. So the idea behind the festival was really to encourage people to take ownership of the site, to inhabit it, to familiarize themselves with the site a bit better. One of the opportunities or potentials of the site is that it's within a historic city, a city that's walkable in a part of the world where pedestrian areas are quite limited. But people, because it's a serial site, people were somehow not so aware that the site, the different components of the site were connected to one another. And this is the idea of the festival was actually an idea that grew out of COVID. So during the years of COVID, when a lot of the activity stopped and international travel was brought to a halt, we had the idea of creating a festival that would encourage people to start exploring the island itself, to start looking at the opportunities closer to home, to rediscover their heritage and understand that these are really areas that are so well fitted for, music festivals and other celebrations. Because of COVID, incidentally and ironically, the festival could not go through during COVID because as we were planning it, the number spiked again, and then all sorts of any kind of groupings of more than 6 people were forbidden once again. So we had to postpone it, and our first edition happened actually right after COVID. From The first edition, we were incredibly surprised by the amount of people that came to the festival and the success that it encountered very early on. So I'll go through some of the images that will show you the very different activations that happen all throughout the city, you know, be it music performances, design pop-ups, art commissions in the old streets of the city, traditional music, art exhibitions and photography exhibitions that are actually site-specific and commissioned by local artists to interpret the World Heritage Site itself, different workshops that happen in several of our venues. This is some of the posters and the communications that we did on the festival in the city itself to make sure that the festival somehow also inhabited the city, you know, skateboarding events on the different squares of the project. Food is obviously a big component of the project. Lectures, cinema nights, activations of the zoo, the central commercial area, design pop-ups, specific art exhibitions, and these are all different events. You know, it ranges also here. The police band had a fanfare through the site itself, traditional music design, and it's really shown us that activations and festivals are a really important part of the story making and narrative of a festival. I think a lot of people finally kind of understood the site itself, its messaging and its potential after we created this festival, and they started imagining the different uses and the activations and the programming that could happen in these historic structures within the historic city center of Muharraq. I think it was helpful in encouraging younger entrepreneurs to invest the city center. It was very helpful in encouraging more tourism and more footfall to the site, in helping people navigate it through different means of mobility. So we organized, you know, scooter rides across the site, bicycle rides, really very different means of soft mobility to encourage people to really take ownership of the whole site and navigate it through many different means. So these are some of the art installations. And so every year now we have specific art commissions that activate the site and bring in the community through very different activations and means. So here you see one of the sites that are near the sea. So that's it, to give you just a very quick overview on the site and the festival that was organized.
Thank you very much, Noura. I think it seems the festival contains a great combination of both tangible and intangible heritage, which I thought it is really fascinating. For the next turn, Colleen, could you share your story?
Hello, I'm Colleen Swain. I work for the City of San Antonio. I'm the director of the World Heritage Office, and we are a serial designation. We have 5 Spanish colonial missions and an extant ranch that are collectively called the San Antonio Missions World Heritage Site. We were designated in 2015, And 4 of the 5 missions are active parishes. The Archdiocese, the Catholic Church, runs the churches, and the National Park Service runs the grounds. And then, of course, we have the world famous Alamo that is run by the state of Texas. So the city does not manage the sites, but we're one of the partners that work collaboratively to achieve World Heritage status because we control the land use in the buffer zone. And really, 4 of the 5 missions are in the area of the city that has not seen a lot of investment. And so the community was concerned about what was going to happen with World Heritage. And our office, the city, worked with the partners on a work plan that my office is responsible for implementing. And the goal is to leverage World Heritage status as a catalyst for social economic change, yet trying to keep the neighborhoods authentic. And so we work very closely with the community. And as I mentioned, the quest to achieve World Heritage status was undertaken through a community effort. Again, we had the city, county, the river authority. We have a river that is very important to our missions, the National Park Service, the state of Texas, and several other partners, the Catholic Church. And they got together, we all got together and organized the first festival in 2016. So this will be working on our 9th festival. It overlaps with the Organization of World Heritage Cities Solidarity Day that occurs annually on September 8th. And the Organization of World Heritage Cities was created on this date, and it urges each member city to highlight this day to demonstrate the important responsibility of the city to protect as well as promote World Heritage. And so this annual collaborative event celebrates and promotes the San Antonio Missions, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And similar to the presentation before, we do a wide variety of things to bring people to the site. And I'm going to show you a video in a moment. So collaboration for us is important. Every year is a little bit different because the city brands the festival and then the partners submit their events. We annually put on an event called Tour de las Misiones, which is a bike, walk, run, and you choose how long you want to ride your bike. It can be 22 miles, or it can be as little as 7 miles, or it can be you can walk 3 miles, and you get to experience the site with historians. And so this festival is important because people have different interests, and we provide them different opportunities to learn about the site and to access the site. So I'm going to, if we can play the short video, then that will, you'll get to see a visual of the festival.
Thank you, Colleen. It is really interesting that you are using a modernized way, such as bicycle rides, to bring people at the site. Lastly, I will give a floor to Ginny.
Okay, I will begin by briefing on Jeju Island and World Heritage Festival Jeju. As the first natural world heritage in Korea, Jeju was inscribed on the list as Jeju Volcanic Island and Lava Tubes on July 2nd in 2007. This is a picture of the light right after the listing was announced. Criteria is outstanding landscape value and unique geological environment. The inscribed sites include Mountain Hallasan Natural Reserve, Seongsan Ilchulbong Tube Cone, and Geumnobum Lava Tube System, which cover about 10% of the Jeju Island. The number of visitors to the World Heritage Site in 2023 is 2.3 million in total of both individual sites. This is a graph showing changes in the number of visitors. After being inscribed in 2007, it has increased steeply, but is decreasing in some years due to external factors such as COVID-19. In addition, as it is a natural heritage site, maintaining an appropriate number of visitors is important. So, a reservation system for visit is being implemented. This is the picture of natural World Heritage site. Among the Geumnobum lava tube system, except for Geumnobum and Manjangun lava tubes, other lava tubes are not open to the public for conservation and safety. It is open only once a year during the World Heritage Festival. Now I will talk about World Heritage Festival Jeju. The World Heritage Festival is a complex festival that combines high-level utilization and enjoyment program with performances, experiences, and exhibition on the theme of World Heritage with programs. This festival is for understanding, communicating, and interpreting World Heritage, including seminars, education, and walking tours. Jeju Island has been holding the festival every year since 2020 to build and promote the brand of Jeju UNESCO World Heritage, which can be enjoyed based on conservation by recognizing and respecting the value of Jeju UNESCO World Heritage Site by both local residents and domestic and international tourists. Each year, the festival has a theme of encounter, connection, coexistence, and symbiosis. Today, I'm gonna share the first year's program in 2020. The theme was 17 Days of Encountering the Breath of Life. We created a Breath of Fire trail as a story at the 2020 festival. Since then, this trail has served as a core program of the Jeju World Heritage Festival. Do you know the famous place in Jeju Island? Mountain Hallasan and Seongsan Ilchulbong, which are World Heritage Site, are Jeju's representative tourist attractions. Therefore, as a manager of the festival, I particularly wanted to promote the Geumnobum lava tube system, which is relatively not well known to people through a festival. And I especially wanted to show a lava tube system that is not open to the public. A group of lava tube systems formed when lava erupted from Geumnobum and flowed 13 kilometers to the sea near Woljeongri. It is the lava system that provides a crucial opportunity to be inscribed on the World Heritage List, but its value is not widely known. I suggest that we make a trekking trail through this lava tube system without even looking to see if there was a path or if it was broken. Some people were against it, but we created this trail even though the 13-kilometer straight track became 21 kilometers. We planned various programs focusing on this lava tube system. Wasn't it amazing? The Great Path of Life, where lava started from Gamunorum 10,000 years ago and flowed toward the sea, but was carefully revealed for 17 days. With Gamunorum as the birth, Woljeong Beach as the concept of death and new beginnings. We created a path of lava, a path of cave, a path of stone, and new life. The lava path is based on lava, the cave path is based on cave, and the stone and new life path is based on Jeju Batam. We created icons for each path and used them in various ways, such as path signs. The heritage information was provided in various ways. The Path of Breath of Fire Art Project eco-friendly work in harmony with nature, giving them a modern meaning as land art to visitors walking along the road, allowing them to dream of spending time with nature. The Path of Breath of Expedition was planned to bring nature and humans together by walking and camping on the World Natural Heritage Trail. And the theme was reflected in the experiences. Participants were selected through online interviews, and satisfaction was highest among the programs. The Special Expedition Program is planned to enable people to experience the World Heritage value of lava tubes and the importance of World Heritage through experiencing a cross-section of the World Heritage and to become World Heritage guardians themselves. With a competition ratio of 197 to 1 and 490,000 YouTube views, it created a big buzz, and TV ratings were also high. The 성산일주봉 live performance is a storytelling program that presents the natural scenery of Ilchulbong and the mythology of Jeju in a large outdoor live performance. And it was even more meaningful as women divers, an intangible cultural heritage of humanity, and local residents performed in the show. The Manjangu Art Project was a convergence of natural and cultural heritage in the public area of Manjangu. Various performances using the intangible cultural heritage were held to entertain the visitors. Next, I will talk about the World Heritage Festival and local community participation. The World Heritage Festival has been held jointly with the World Heritage Village in Jeju. There are 7 World Heritage Villages. The residents of the World Heritage Village have worked as World Heritage interpreters. They even perform at the event. Local mail lunch boxes were popular during the festival, which made the visitors experience local intangible heritage. Education for next generation is really important. We have provided various types of education related to the UNESCO spirit for students, including training children, interpreters, conducting English camp, as well as the UNESCO education programs. During the festival, children interpreters explained the value of the site to the audience and also presented performances. Since 2012, we have been facilitating supporters for publicity and clean campaigns. The promotional role of the supporters at the World Heritage Festival was great. They promoted the World Heritage Festival through promotional tours and online. Supporters also played a role in keeping the trail clean. Finally, I would like to talk about the visitors of the festival. After visiting, they became more media to share their experiences at the site and spread their values, which bring the lesson to preserve the site so that they became World Heritage Guardians spontaneously. I will explain more about this in the third question. Thank you.
Jinny, thank you. Even though I'm Korean, I'm not familiar with most of the sites in Jeju, and I found that it is because most of sites are not accessible usually, but in a way it makes the festival more special. Okay, so let's move on to the second question. So festivals are very complex events, especially in Korea, where most festivals are localized. In Korea, the festival story usually includes not only heritage story, but also local specialties such as crafts and natural products. And in this regard, I would like the experts to share what you have done to maintain the context of your festival and what difficulties you have encountered. Assuming having similar experiences to mine, I would like to invite Jeannie first.
The World Heritage Festival Jeju faced two major challenges. The first challenge is the system, how evaluate the festival's success. Let me discuss this issue first. As the World Heritage Festival Jeju is a festival held in the natural heritage site in Jeju, the purpose of the festival is to make people feel the importance of Jeju's nature and spread conservation awareness. However, due to the nature of the festival, it is often recognized as a successful festival with the matter of how many people came to the festival. Therefore, on one side, some people argue that we should not have a reservation system by limiting the number of visitors and offset as many people as possible. On the other side, some people argued that we should reduce the number of people and make it more reality. In order to maintain the original narrative of the World Heritage Site Jeju, it was essential to demonstrate the effectiveness of the festival in spreading its purpose online, rather than just focusing on the number of visitors. It can be seen that content using digital technology, such as AR experiences for private lava tubes that are not normally accessible and SNS events, were also well received by participants. Due to the nature of natural heritage, the events were limited in number and required advance reservations. So the number of visitors was small, but participants shared their experiences on social media, spreading awareness of the value of World Heritage and conservation and showing very high results. One of the travel YouTubers and influencers in Korea, Banibotu, has 1.75 million subscribers, and he shared a video review of the expedition team for the entire section of Manjangal lava tube on YouTube. The video received 510,000 views, highlighting the value of Jeju Online. It went viral. They also helped spread awareness of World Heritage preservation by sending the message. I hope that the 6 members of the expedition team for the entire section of Manjangal lava tube will be able to protect the World Heritage with 12 people next year and 18 people the year after. The second factor that made it difficult to maintain a consistent narrative for the World Heritage Festival is the stakeholders related to World Heritage Jeju. It was not an easy task to bring together a variety of stakeholders, including local residents and local businesses, to create a World Heritage Festival and create a good experience for visitors. Initially, local residents constantly questioned why the World Heritage Festival is being held and how it would benefit them specifically. There were even groups that opposed the event itself and threatened to picket and protest at the ceremony. In the process of creating a Breath of Fire trail, the core of the World Heritage Festival, the courts had to deter the route because it was not possible to obtain consent from the owner of the private land. In order to create a World Heritage Festival program together with stakeholders first have to understand why is World Heritage important and a systematic stakeholder capacity building program is necessary. Therefore, we visited 7 World Heritage villages to provide World Heritage-related education and provided consulting services to help villages plan World Heritage Festival programs. Despite these efforts, some villages have carried out existing village festival content that have nothing to do with World Heritage. However, gradually, more and more local residents understood the purpose of the World Heritage Festival and changed it, and as the years went by, local residents participated in leading the World Heritage Festival. In the 2022 monitoring evaluation, due to the 3 consecutive years, local residents have a high understanding of the overall project, and it was evaluated that the operation of the Heritage Village Lead program suggested the possibility of creating new added value. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. It is really hard to change the heritage values into numbers or figures. And as you told about the number of people, like visitors, to decide whether the festival was successful or not, I totally agree that the number could be the challenging point for us. Okay, so shall we move to Bahrain's story?
I mean, it's really interesting to see the similarities in the efforts to animate these World Heritage sites, and also the similar means and tools used. Like, I was really fascinated to see the bicycle rides as well in Sant Antonio, that although we're thousands of miles away, in completely different contexts, that somehow the same tools are helpful and useful, and can help to navigate and look at World Heritage sites differently. I think in the case of Bahrain and the Pearling Path, maybe the specificity that we have is that we're in an urban context. So in terms of revealing, let's say, the local elements of the festival, a lot of what we did at the start simply had to do with mapping the existent. So a big part of the first communication we did around the first festival was really around mapping the city itself and revealing what was already existing in the city, whether it was craftspeople, local food shops, local music houses, and so on. So a lot of it was just kind of bringing forward what was actually already there in the city and making it more visible to the local communities and to the general visitors of the Pearling Path. We obviously, in all of the programming that we do, we definitely try as much as possible to encourage local participation, you know, whether it is bringing local artists, you know, local food chefs, and having them revisit the site, not necessarily always, you know, in a historic or traditional way, also by contemporary means. I think this is for us also really important to make sure that the site, you know, also assumes kind of its contemporary nature, and that it remains appealing to a wide range of audiences. So the programming takes that into consideration. A lot of the efforts that were done on the project and on the path have to do, like you said at the start, with reviving not only the tangible elements of the Perling, but also the intangible. You know, whether it's crafts, music, food, and so on. So these elements are already quite embedded in the project of the Perling Path itself. But obviously, when you organize a festival like this, it's really an occasion to celebrate all of these different intangible aspects together and to somehow bring the site to its most intense experience, you know. And I think that really helps in communicating and promoting the site to the visitors, you know, because, you know, obviously this is a temporary and punctual activation of the site that takes place over 10 days, but elements of this continue throughout the year. You know, we have music performances once a week. We have, you know, food events a couple of times a year. So somehow this festival somehow allows us to show the maximum range that the site can offer. And then throughout the years, building up on that, we have more specific events that work around the different aspects of the World Heritage Site.
Thank you, Nora. I think if the site is the whole town, like Bahrain's case, which already has a living context, it is simpler to convey the story of the site to the public. And also, I think if there is occasional events that you have provided to the visitors, it is much easier to communicate with them. Now, I would like to listen to San Antonio Mission, its case. Colleen, it's your turn.
So we like Bahrain, we've done, you know, movies, music, exhibits, lectures, demonstrations. We've even done food festivals because we're also UNESCO Creative City of Gastronomy. And so I think part of our challenge is measuring success, especially when the partners submit events and they change every year. There's a couple that we have our ones that always happen, like the Tour de las Misiones and the Mass on Sunday. But measuring success, because, you know, attendance is great, but then in some places you don't want too much attendance because you want to balance that. And then, you know, we charge a small fee for the Tour de las Misiones. And I know when the Alamo's done some lectures, they charged a small fee. But our goal is not really it's not to make money. In fact, my office probably loses money because we market the festival as well. And we have a very small team to organize this huge event, to work with all the partners. For us, it's about, you know, creating awareness to the locals and the visitors. I have so many people that come and say, wow, I didn't know that this existed. You know, this is great. I'm going to come back. And so everybody has a different thing that provides a point of entry for them. And that's what we want to do, is provide that point of entry. As far as, you know, working with a variety of partners, you know, sometimes in the past we've had last minute additions. And so that makes it hectic when you're planning a festival. So this year we've instituted an application process so that events don't overlap and we have complete information in time so that we can adequately advertise. And then social media, making sure you have all the information from all the partners so that we can promote it collaboratively. And so those are, you know, some of our challenges, which sound very similar to also what Bahrain has experienced as well. We are also a World Heritage Site in an urban context. While that southern portion is very rural, it's still within the city limits, and that's why we're a member of the Organization of World Heritage Cities.
Thank you, Colleen. I think educating people is the most direct way to frame the story of the site in the visitor's mind. And maybe that's why numerous heritage festivals are aiming to provide educational programs. I think we can all agree that the main purpose of festival is to deliver mass-produced heritage narratives to an unspecified number of people. So we must consider the visitors when planning a festival. For our final discussion today, I will turn to the experts. What role do visitors play in the story told at your festival? Colleen, could you share your thoughts first?
Sure. So, if we didn't have an audience, we wouldn't have a festival. And as I said, the main goal is to promote the World Heritage Site and create awareness. World Heritage is not as widely known or understood here in the US. And so we found that we had people in our own city that didn't know we were a World Heritage Site. And so we do get a lot of locals, but we also get a lot of people from out of town who come. And so there are, again, and we strive to have a variety of events because everybody has a different interest. And the idea is to get them hooked, whether that's through an art exhibit or through showing a documentary at the outdoor theater that we have, or through, some sort of recreational activity or tour. There's something for everyone. And so we want to keep doing that. So because the more people that know about the site and start to become interested in it, the better protected it will be.
Thank you, Colleen. What about the Korean case, Ginny?
The participants of the World Heritage Festival not only experienced the World of Natural Heritage Site Jeju firsthand, but also share their experiences and spread their awareness of the importance of natural heritage for conservation. In the recent years, the importance of creativity and co-creation in World Heritage interpretation has increased. Visitors co-create their experience by selecting a site according to their interest and actively participating in the co-creation of the site. In the digital age, heritage activities are expanding into online spaces, and social media platforms are sharing experience and values. By creating unique narratives about heritage, visitors who share their experiences on social media platforms such as TripAdvisor are co-creating value. According to the 2020 World Heritage Festival Monitoring Result Report, the highest motivation for attending the World Heritage Festival was to enjoy the beautiful scenery, which is expectable because they are natural sites. Also, visitors highly evaluate the festival with a different experience that cannot be experienced in everyday life, and they understood the importance of preserving nature from the visiting. Participants in the festival experienced first the World Heritage Program directly, second, felt satisfied, and third, changed their perception of the need to preserve natural heritage. Additionally, through their participation in the event, they engaged in nature conservation actions, such as picking up trash and separating waste. Furthermore, they played a role as value co-creators by sharing their experiences and reviews on social media. From January to October 2020, there were 248 posts in total on social media showing the visitors experienced at the World Heritage Festival Jeju. Among the social media reviews, we found many reviews that gave new value to World Heritage. Some reviews mentioned that humans are only temporary residents in the face of nature's time, and we should find ways to coexist with borrowed nature. Or I hope that the generations of 10,000 years from now can see this time as it is. These are the evidence that people coming to the festival play a role in creating heritage new values. Thank you.
Ginny, thank you for sharing. Nura, could you share your thought?
I think I agree very much with the example, what has been said from, both other World Heritage Site examples. The visitors are a crucial part of the experience. I mean, they're the reason why you make the World Heritage Site to start with. I think, what's interesting about the festivals, we use them a lot as somehow sounding boards for what we want to maybe enhance in the World Heritage Site in the future. So it's a really good opportunity to test some ideas, and to see how visitor response is to them. Because the sites during this festival receive a much greater amount of people than they usually do at one moment in time. We also get a lot more feedback, and it somehow also, gives us a kind of stress test of what the World Heritage Site is. It enables us to anticipate perhaps future issues that will arise. Issues related to a dramatic increase in visitors over a short time and so on, and so we really use it on the one hand as a testing ground for some things, and really as valuable feedback that we get from the people that come to the site in terms of what could be missing in terms of general facilities, whether it's parking, whether it's sometimes we get comments that there are not enough praying spaces for women in Bahrain, not enough public toilets and facilities. So this is all feedback that we're then able throughout the year to integrate and to try as much as possible to integrate into the site.
Thank you, Nura. That was great final speech for this discussion. And in order to continue the mass-produced communication, monitoring visitor experience is really important. And once we can make visitors engage in the story finally completed, which is in line with the perspective of heritage interpretation and presentation. So people might not realize it, but storytelling techniques are used in a variety of places when it comes to interpreting and presenting heritage. Not just in a heritage festival we've just explored today, but also simply in interpretive panels at the sites and photographs, videos, and exhibitions, etc. Storytelling is arguably the most engaging way for heritage to reach out to the public, and we will have more examples of this in our third issue of our periodical magazine. Thank you all, Nura, Colleen, and Ginny, and thank you to the audience for watching this video. This is Nayan Lee from Whipic. Thank you.